Hello everybody and welcome to the 12th Let's Chat. This is my weekly vlog series. I post it every Monday at midday if you're in the UK anyway, where I just chat about whatever the hell I feel like, although this time I did get some suggestions, so I'm kind of going to focus on that. But to start with, this is just after Valentine's Day, a few days afterwards, and I decided to, well, I was in the supermarket and I saw these Valentine themed teddy bears, and they were cheaper than equivalent dog toys, and I wanted a new toy for Maya to destroy. So I bought her the Valentine's teddy. We called it Love Bear after the Simpsons reference, and in the background now you'll be seeing a short video I made of the moment she saw that I'd bought her a new toy and I gave her it, and it's what she does. She always runs around with it and has a fun time. She never wants to share it for the first little while that she has a new toy, and then eventually she brings it to you so that you can start throwing it, etc. So there's about a minute long video muted in the background if you want to see what she looks like when she gets a new toy. Have fun with that, basically. So I am recording this on Sunday, the day before this is actually going up. And I think I've got a hangover, but not a proper hangover because I don't drink. It's more like a gaming hangover because last night we did the third Monster Hunter themed Steam group get together. And it went on for a bit longer than usual because, well, I was at the apex of just kind of earning a new rank online, so I wanted to get that before we finished. So we kind of ploughed through a lot more than I had planned. But I had a lot of fun, but, you know, talking endlessly for, it was almost 3 hours last night. It was at least 2.5 for sure. Yeah, it can take a toll on you. I was knackered afterwards. I've got a sore neck still and a sore back from leaning into the microphone when I have to record from my console at the same time. And my throat hurts, so that's kind of also why I was putting off recording one of these. But it was a lot of fun, and we had the biggest turnout yet for that one, so clearly Monster Hunter is the most popular thing I can host on those nights. I'm thinking of next Saturday doing one that's Monster Hunter themed again. I won't bother recording it, and the goal of it will be for people who wanted to play this time but couldn't because their HR rank wasn't 3 and above, helping them get to 3 and above so that they can join in the next time I am recording, and potentially Skid will still stream. I don't know, it depends if he's there or not, basically. But yeah, I wouldn't bother recording it because it'd be retreading old ground, and I'm retreading plenty of old ground as it is, doing all the high rank versions of low rank monsters in my solo hunts. So I think that's what the plan is anyway. And yeah, and I'll keep on doing them because, well, I'll try and fit in Monster Hunter themed nights as much as possible because they are by far the most popular. They always have the biggest turnout, so I would be a fool not to keep on doing them when able. But still, I didn't really want to cover much else beyond that, other than I was asked to give some thoughts on Toukiden, which is the new Monster Hunter clone from Toki on the PlayStation Vita. It's exclusive to that. I played the demo for about 2.5 hours, and demo progress carries over to the full game when you buy it. And I've been playing the full game for roughly the same length of time beyond that, or maybe 3 hours. So I've been playing for about 5.5 hours, let's say, as a rough guesstimate. So still very much first impressions that you're going to hear here, but I am kind of going to cover some thoughts on Toukiden because I was asked to. So it's an interesting, actually, to kind of sum up the thoughts before I go into more detail. This morning, with my gaming hangover, after playing Monster Hunter with people for 3 hours last night, I have this choice prior to recording this, where I've got a bit of time before I want to record this. Do I want to play some more Toukiden, or do I want to play some more Monster Hunter now that I have access to some new stuff? I just finished playing Monster Hunter a few minutes before recording this, so it very much means that Monster Hunter is still the better of the two franchises. Toukiden is a direct copy of Monster Hunter. They unashamedly steal from the Monster Hunter franchise. It's a clone. It is just a clone, but it's on a system where Capcom no longer supports the Monster Hunter franchise. For some reason they've decided to go Nintendo exclusive, or PC and Nintendo I guess, but mostly Nintendo. Nintendo consoles and handhelds. Does that mean it's a bad game? No, I would say it's actually pretty damn good. I'd say it's a lot more arcadey. It feels a lot less serious than Monster Hunter does. Probably because you're always with at least 2 other AI companions, and I know you are as well in Monster Hunter with your shakalakas or your felines, etc., depending on which game you're playing, but they're not as competent as the AI companions rather in Toukiden. You feel like you actually have another person there, so there's less stress when you take on the big monsters. It looks good though, and some of the big monsters I've fought so far are a lot of fun. There's this weird mechanic where you don't like carve dead demons to get their materials, and you don't carve bosses when you kill them. you perform, I think it's called rites of purification, where you kind of hold a button and you hold yourself in like a spiritual stance and you get an aura around you, and any corpses get evaporated, kind of like how Bleach did it in like the very start of Bleach before it went all Dragon Ball. And you can also do that to parts of bosses that you cut off. And there's another reason to want to do that, because if you cut off a body part of a boss and perform the rites of purification so that it disappears, they're left with like a hollowed, glowy version of the limb that I think deals less damage and lets you do more damage. So taking apart bosses like that and actually spending the time to make the limb disappear rather than let them regenerate it seems to give you a lot of bonuses in the game. And that's a really nice feature. I like that. They wouldn't ever be able to do that in Monster Hunter. It just wouldn't make sense within the lore of the world. So it works for Toukiden because it's demons. And I probably should have covered that to start with, but it's set in a Japan-esque area. Demons have taken over the world after a certain event where they were unleashed. There's distorted areas of time all over the place now where they're kind of melded reality with the demon world, and you're in an outpost town, one of I think 5 or something, maybe around about that, that's protecting the one last human city that's normal. So you're killing demons and trying to fight back against them for your freedom and all that. It's got a lot of anime tropes, the storyline, and anime trope characters, like a tsundere character or a cheerful one, the moody one, the one that likes to study and wears glasses and all that kind of stuff. You know, it's very lazy in that sense. But it's even got the cute animal. Instead of felines, it's a two-tailed white fox that makes a coo noise over and over, and is sickeningly adorable. So what else? I talked about the monsters. When you fight the monsters, instead of a rage mode, they go into a pure demon mode where everything kind of goes purple and flashy and the particle effects improve. It looks really nice when that happens, and it can be incredibly satisfying if you start cutting off monster bits while they're in that mode, because particles just fly everywhere. Not blood. There's no blood at all actually, like Monster Hunter, but particle effects. It looks nice. There's not as many weapons either. And let's see if I can remember them all. In Toukiden, there is sword, two daggers or dual swords, whatever you want to call it, spear, sickle and hook, bow, fists, and I think that's it. Each one performs ever so slightly differently, although all are the same in the sense that once you fill a special bar in a fight, you get like an ultra attack that will kill any lesser enemy instantly, and if it hits a demon monster boss, you have a 100% chance of cutting off the first body part that it makes contact with, which is another nice feature, because Monster Hunter lacks a lot of special attacks. I know all the weapons perform differently, but the one thing Toukiden has that I really like that Monster Hunter doesn't is the miasma system. I think it's miasma or mitama. Either way, it's when you equip a ghost of a dead warrior who was killed by a demon to your weapon, and depending on the ghost or spirit, whatever you want to call it, that you equip to your weapon, you get a different archetype of special skills. Like you might get, I think the very first one you get is the basic attacky one. So it gives you, each Maitama or whatever they're called, gives you 4 special attacks. And he gives you a short attack up buff for yourself, a short life leech buff for yourself, a simple heal that you can use about 10 times. Each one has a limited number of uses per quest. And they all have kind of like an ultimate that only has 1 or 2 uses, and his, I believe, makes every one of your attacks a critical hit. It's all really nice customization, and currently I'm using one that's actually kind of like a support based spirit, so I can increase the stamina recovery of everybody. I can create a healing circle for people to stand in. I can do like a benediction if you play Final Fantasy XI special, where regardless of where anybody else is, I restore them to full health and cure them of any abnormal statuses, and then you've just got a basic self heal as well. I think the recurring theme between any of them are that there's always at least one basic heal, so that you're not, because you need the heals, there's no items as far as I'm aware. And the crafting of weapons and armour is exactly the same as Monster Hunter. So I'm still very much more addicted to the Monster Hunter franchise at present. Excuse my phone getting emails, my bad. But I am liking Toukiden. That's my first impressions, but you can't always trust first impressions. Maybe I'll find it boring when I go back to it and do more. I will play more today, it's just that I was in the mood for Monster Hunter. If you have a Vita, I would highly suggest considering getting Toukiden at this point, but you might want to wait for next week and maybe I'll change my opinion. If you wanted to go for Monster Hunter and you have a Vita, get the PSP version of Freedom Unite on your Vita. It works fine. You can configure it so it uses 2 analog sticks. It's a lot harder than 3 Ultimate, but it's still good. Toukiden looks better. So I guess that's kind of like wrapping up my thoughts on Toukiden here. It looks better. It plays well on the system. It does a lot of things right, it just doesn't take any chances. It's just a totally 100% almost direct copy of the Monster Hunter genre. And it's by the people who usually do Dynasty Warriors, so I guess that's why there's the very anime-esque design to all the characters rather than a semi-realistic that you get. I mean, obviously, like, Monster Hunter games are slightly stylized as well, but it's not quite the same way. Like, if you compare in-game shots of armors from Toukiden to Monster Hunter, you'll see what I mean. So I don't think that really constitutes much of a review, but I hope I shared some thoughts with you. Who was it that was asking? I believe it was Corporal Kid that was asking for my thoughts on Toukiden. That's his Steam name, I think, or Twitter. Can't remember. Good, but not great. And not as good as Monster Hunter. That will conclude my thoughts on that. And I can't think of much else I really want to talk about this week, really. I really don't want to be sitting in front of... Oh, actually, another reason why this gaming hangover of mine proved so bad is because yesterday I knew I wanted to talk a lot at the Monster Hunter event. There would be at least 2 hours of straight talking and recording and tiring, etc. So I thought, right, don't record any videos during the day. Just, you know, keep yourself relaxed until tonight. The night, rather. But then I got into the Titanfall beta. And I just knew I had to do a quick video on that to go up to kind of get the tempo event thing, as YouTube calls them. So, by the way, Titanfall is very, very good. I question its longevity unless they have a wide variety of game types in the full game. The selection in the beta is not really great. There's not many stages either, but obviously that's because it'll be a beta, I suppose. But in short bursts, I find the game massively fun. I love anything with mechs and stompy robots, so being able to summon one when you get enough... Well, it's actually not even if you get enough kills, it's a set timer, and doing damage to things and killing things shortens the timer, so it's not quite a kill streak per se. But either way, I'm liking Titanfall a lot, and in fact I think I'm going to go play some more after I finish doing this. Maybe recording, depending on how I feel, but oh dear, my back is killing me right now. It's leaning into the microphone that does it, that's the thing, it's not talking. But anyway, I think this is a bit short, even compared to my usual Let's Chats, but I am going to kind of wrap up here, and thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed that little video of Maya playing with her Valentine's toy. And next week I might share some more thoughts on Toukiden, or if you have any other suggestions for things you want me to talk about, feel free to leave comments or let me know on Twitter, in advance rather. And yeah, I'm going to go now, so once again, thank you for listening this long, if you did, and ta-ta for now.